Sir, we need to invade Iran now. Yes, I agree, boy. Saddam Hussein's got WMDs. Saddam's dead. Saddam dead. Osama's got WMD. Osama dead. Bama got Sama? Bama got Sama. I fucking know. Brown people, desert. Like, do we really need a reason? I'm like, no, but it'd be nice to like tell people like a reason. People say it's like Dune. Oh, the kids love Dune. Kids love Dune.
Bama got Sama. Today we will be talking about propaganda, and what a better way to start than with a little joke in the beginning of this video. I just want to say that propaganda is a topic that is fascinating to me, specifically because in university I have studied a marketing, and marketing in a sense is a propaganda in free market. I have also written a blog article about this already, so you can check it out. But basically, when I want to sell a product, I propagate this product, for example, with commercials or partnerships, sponsored posts and stuff like that. So we say I propagate. You're mainly familiar with a government sponsored propaganda, but there are different types of propaganda. For example, the most common are ads. Ads that you can see every day is a form of propaganda. And so in a sense, marketing is a free market version of propaganda. However, in today's video, even though we have started with a little joke and we talked about different types of propaganda, we will mainly focus on government's propaganda, and it might get quite serious because first we will hear from a veteran who is describing the situation right now that is happening, and then we will also talk about the legacy media in general, what they are actually doing and how it is harmful. We will even have an example of how it can be very, very harmful, the type of propaganda that the legacy media is pushing on masses. And then in the end, I have a little bit of a announcement, a little bit of a lighter mood announcement, but big furry announcement. So don't go anywhere. And yeah, let's go with the video.
Anybody who is advocating for war with Iran who did not serve in Iraq and Afghanistan should be ignored because they somehow avoided military service during the longest period of military conflict in the U.S. history. And they are trying to start another war with Iran based on the same lie that led us into Iraq and Afghanistan. They are saying that Iran is days away from a capable nuclear weapon, which was not true 20 years ago. It was not true 10 years ago. It wasn't true 5 years ago. And it's not true today.
It must be obvious to anybody who has been at least a little bit paying attention that the propaganda that we hear about Iran seems a little bit familiar, specifically the propaganda surrounding the nuclear weapons and in general the weapons of mass destruction. This propaganda seems to be copied from a playbook, from a previous playbook that the war machine and the military industrial complex already used before. Specifically, they have used the same propaganda when they were trying to invade Iraq. This is obviously this is a little bit comical to see, specifically if you pay attention, but this can have quite a horrific consequences. This could have quite a big, huge consequences, because even though for some of us it may seem comical when politicians are trying to reuse these talking points and these headlines, and they basically almost grotesquely repeat the same headlines over and over and over. This type of propaganda does work, specifically if you repeat it over and over and over again. And what we don't realize is that this has severe consequences. This destroys people's lives. For example, in Iraq, more than a million people, more than a million Iraqis have been murdered. Not only have been murdered military personnel, but huge amounts of innocent civilians in Iraq has paid the ultimate price. They have been murdered by the Americans. The bombardment has been heavy and has been quite horrific. Over the past 30 years, the war that the war machine has waged against the Muslim population all over the world, but most specifically in the Middle East, has been quite horrific to witness. And this has quite horrific consequences for people all over the world, and also for obviously the American personnel that is being lied to, that is being sent overseas into countries that most of them cannot even find on a map, and yet they are being forced to fight for something that they don't really understand, and that only the very few billionaire and oligarchs will profit from. And so this propaganda not only is quite dangerous, but it has very horrific consequences. Now we will hear in this part of the video, we will watch a little bit of a exaggeration how the legacy media basically conveys this propaganda, spreads this propaganda through headlines, through quite a severely biased headlines. And so we will, on a little bit of a lighter note, hear exaggeration on how this works. So let's take a listen.
Sailboats from 12 nations compete in North Sea regatta.
Migrant invasion on UK waters.
London hosts tech summit.
We can't escape the trans agenda.
World record broken by mixed gender relay team.
Terrified white woman flees aggressive black man.
Super city in Nigeria is thriving.
Widespread African poverty.
White teens caught looting during city riots.
Environmentally conscious youths help local family by recycling their belongings.
Now, obviously, this is not just the Daily Mail, but this double standard have been truly present throughout the legacy media all over the West, not just in UK, but obviously in the United States as well. This insane double standard and insane Islamophobia and racism in general has been truly ramping up in the legacy media, specifically when it comes to obviously the elephant in the room, the horrific war crimes that are being committed in Middle East. This is just something insane to witness. Insane to witness. The war crimes are insane, truly insane, committed by the Israel in Gaza. It is horrific to witness what has been happening there, and the legacy media has been trying the hardest they have ever tried to cover up for these war crimes. If you think that covering up for COVID or any type of disinformation campaigns that the legacy media has been running, this is something completely on just bigger scale. The propaganda that we see right now against the Muslim population in the Middle East is just insane. This is off the chart. And right now we will actually hear real lifetime consequences that this propaganda has. If you basically spread this propaganda all over the world and all over the news, you hear nothing but propaganda 24/7, this will have severe consequences in our lives as well. And we will hear from one of these examples right now.
On Friday night, our mosque in Belfast was attacked while people were inside praying. The bomb squad were called and the building had to be evacuated. Is this the consequence of reckless misinformation and propaganda against Islam?
Now, what has happened in Belfast is obviously horrific. It is horrific. Luckily, if I'm not mistaken, there haven't been anybody unalived, so that is at least one positive about this story. Now, we have heard on the news quite recently, I don't want to show the video, but there have been example of similar attack against the Muslim population. On airport, a 2-year-old has been pushed to the ground and he is right now fighting for his life in coma because of this horrific attack by a male that has been seen on camera pushing this 2-year-old on the ground. This is obviously horrific, or obviously horrific, and it is hard to witness how somebody can do this, but this is what the propaganda does. You know, if you listen 24/7 to the world's news and you're being 24/7 bombarded with anti-Muslim propaganda, this is what will essentially happen. This is what will people do, which is just horrific. I remember from my personal experience when I had a summer job in London. I lived in a Muslim/Polish neighborhood that was full of immigrants, and one day one of the subway stations was completely closed because somebody ran into Muslim population with their truck, with their minivan. They were propagandized and they ran over some local Muslim population. I believe there might have been someone in hijab, and so they had targeted them and tried to run into. I remember that in our neighborhood there have been a lot of markets, especially during the weekends. There have been a lot of markets with different types of food. And I believe this occurred on the weekend. I was working at the time in the food industry, in the restaurant industry, and so I would be working on weekends. And when I was commuting back home, when I was ending my shift, I couldn't transition on my regular subway stop, on my regular transition stop, and I had to commute on bus, which was irregular for me. And it was because of this particular attack that occurred there, which is just something obviously horrific. It was already back in 2017, so you can see that this anti-Islam propaganda has been going on the news for years and years. Basically, the war machine, the United States' war machine that UK is part of. This war machine has been involved with the Muslim population in the Middle East for over 30 years. And so this constant propaganda has been in the news quite omnipresent, I would say. But obviously, since the genocide in Gaza started, this propaganda has just ramped up. This has truly ramped up, and it is hard to witness. It is hard to escape, and for many people, this is hard to bear. You know, they are being brainwashed. Their brains are melting. Their brains are being melted by this propaganda. There is no other way to describe it. And, we are seeing the consequences around us. Now, with that being said, I would love to end on a little bit of a brighter note. I would love to And on a little bit of a more of a positive note, I have a big announcement. As always, I have a huge furry announcement, big announcement. Our investigative journalist, Poppy Gloria, has been able to secure a new beautiful interview. She has been able to interview a Bigfoot in his kingdom, in his forest kingdom. And so make sure to watch out for that video. It's going to be up on my channel soon. It's quite exciting. She's been working really hard on this interview, so make sure to watch out for this one. Also, make sure to smash that like button, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Make sure to check out my blog. It's quite unique, original, amazing. Make sure to check out the videos here, there, and everywhere. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.